Yeah, so do you guys remember Tuesday vlog when I was talking about how excited I was to be able to push that hard on the pec deck? Well, I most certainly do because holy freaking guacamole, the titties are quite tender. Anyways, day 25 of the cut, 271 body weight, and we are close grip benching. And for those of you who might be new here, this whole vlog series started as a way to document my way back from a complete pec tendon rupture. So goal for today is to push on close grips, but not turn that pec soreness into any sort of pec sketchiness. Because it's like coming back from any injury, we gotta expect to feel it at some points, but we don't want to feel it in a way that feels really freaking bad, you know? So plan is warm up as normal, see how situation goes, and if it feels like the pecs are gonna be a limitation on being able to push hard enough from the work sets, you're gonna put down ELITEFTS shoulder saver pad, shorten the range, make her less pecky, more tricepy, so we're still touching something hard enough. And with how that one felt, kind of tempted to just toss the shoulder saver pad on, but gonna take an extra warm-up jump just to give me another chance to feel less shitty. Not fantastic, but also not freaking terrible again. I mean, felt better than 185, but still kind of felt like shit, so this is gonna be the make a decision kind of set. Also, new shirt alert. Finally got my shit together and got the apparel rolling again. Brought back one of my favorite designs for the January drop. The shirt itself is the kind of shirt that I actually want to train in, and I'm highly biased here, but you guys should probably grab one before January is over and they are no longer available. Good news, not at all limited by pain or sketchiness. Bad news, limited by my relative state of fatigue, which I mean is reasonable considering how hard we cranked last Thursday and how hard we cranked on Monday. So decision is going to be that because I was able to reach an adequate level of effort on that set without sketchiness, I'm just going to take it again, reach an adequate level of effort to get something out of it, and then we'll move on to something else and be productive there as well.
Triceps. There we go.
And like someone would be asking, like, Seth, why don't you just take a deload instead of being limited by fatigue? And it's like comparing this to a deload, all a deload accomplishes is trimming off fatigue because you're going so much lighter, you're not really working all that hard. Like it should trim off fatigue. And the thing with this is that it does look and feel a lot more aggressive than deload, but from experience doing this fatigue washing strategy, it pulls off fatigue as well as I freaking need it to get into the next week and be able to push again. And I think that the added benefit, whereas a deload only accomplishes pulling off fatigue, what this does for me is this lets me build mental strength and fortitude, because there are going to be days in meet prep where you feel like shit and you need to freaking bring it. And if the only thing you know what to do when you feel like shit is take a deload, your meet prep is going to be freaking screwed. And I think on that note, gonna plan on not going super heavy on the dumbbells, but pushing reps into like a range of motion intent, tissue tolerance intent type dealio, and see if I can get the old packy packs to feel a little bit less gross. Yeah, the 160s, 2 bench workouts in a row on the dumbbell press and floor press probably was a mistake. And like, yeah, it's not fun when a lightweight feels really freaking heavy, but then it's your job to make it fun by trying really freaking hard, even though it does feel heavy, you know? And I'm thinking with how everything does feel, gonna run like a full range push up dealio instead of the dips, and I think I'll be able to touch the pecs and shoulders more appropriately for how they are feeling today. And it's like, yeah, like that is way freaking harder than it should be, but I'm laughing at myself. I'm having fun with it. I'm digging in, and like, I don't know, it's just still fun. Lifting weights is still fun, even when you are kind of tired and shit's moving very poorly. And like, I don't know, I just freaking have learned to love these training days because it's like the days when it's really easy, they don't show you what you're made of, but the days when you actually have to dig in and fight for it, like you're only gonna dig in and fight for it if you actually love the shit. So I don't know, I enjoy it. Is that all you're rowing?
Huh?
Is that all you're rowing?
That's how much your dad rows.
I mean, yeah, probably. He's not very strong.
Oh. Burn.
And on that note, I don't know if I'm going to feel adventurous enough to go too much heavier than this, but we'll try to be less of an asshole than we were with him previously, get a little bit more range of motion, elbow bend, etc., lengthened position, buzzwords. Yeah, we stayed at the cute little purple one for set two, but we'll dig in again. And Ropey guy was over here, so I figure we'll do some extendy boys to finish out the triceps pump and tension arena stuff. This is probably a better angle to work at anyways. And like first angle I was using there, tension felt like shit. Like wasn't much of anything happening. Second angle felt a whole lot better, so we'll just start with a second angle and not waste our time. and been running the flat flats for a little while now, so I figure we'll hop on the decliner and get some more of the costal fibers. Starting light because I have really no idea how sketchy or not this is going to feel. Probably the perfect amount of sketchy that I wanted to deal with today. And we're up 5 pounds for set 2. Tried to grab the 35, but it actually felt like really icky, so we'll just go 25 and maybe being an asshole. My fucking head isn't inflamed. Fuck. Tried to do a rep with the 35, but that felt way too heavy to actually be productive with in the context of the day, so we're just gonna jam out the 25 until it gets hard. That's what she said. And I'm gonna do something a little bit lame here and really focus on the quality of mind muscle connection. Get a big squeeze. I don't know. If I yank these hard when my shoulders hurt more. But if I yank them controlled when my shoulders hurt less. So I'm gonna do the thing that makes my shoulders hurt less, even though it may be slightly less optimal for the jack. Getting the shoulders to hurt less today is priority number 1.
20 minutes later.
And just because I'm going squeezy doesn't mean I'm not going to go until the set gets hard. Went a little heavier, still going to be squeezy, but still also going to crank in. And we'll get into more of the T-spiny Y raises. Again, the whole goal here is just to move the scaps, move the rib cage, pull myself kind of into a similar position to where I'll be on my bench unrock. Hold step there, get better at locking it in. I don't know, I'm going to stop talking. And like, I know that this looks really stupid, but they are so deceptively hard and will absolutely cook your middle back in the best way possible. And I mean, incline bench is already here, so might as well get on some rear delt rows.
Stayed up last night. The airplane was delayed. I can't let go of my sheet.
It's like you'd think he kind of wants to be in the vlog with how much he walks in front of the camera.
It's like he thinks he owns a gym with all that he uses his camera.
And anti-adapters feel like they need a little love, so we're gonna run some of that wide base bench sit-ups to give them a little bit of that love, I guess. And I just like got a wave of energy almost because I had some really funny parallel thoughts and it's making the wheels spin in my brain. But like these sessions where I feel tired, my body doesn't feel very fresh, like stuff is achy and sore that, you know, I don't want to be achy and sore. At this point in my career, like I figured out how to make these days still feel productive, even though it feels like everything is kind of not working in my favor, at least not working how I want it to work. And I've still figured out how to make these days enjoyable. I figured out how to make these days fun, and I figured out how to put the best effort in that I can, and I figured out to trust that if it truly is my best effort in the circumstances, it's still going to work out for me in the long term. And then kind of like thinking about that and comparing it to how I felt during this vlog, like my biggest concern through this entire filming training session was just like, okay, I'm making my training good enough, but am I making the video good enough? And what I got to remember is that the only way that I learned how to make these days productive in the gym was literally just trying to make these days productive in the gym and learning how to wrap my head around still putting effort in when I don't want to, and learning how to be okay with lower numbers feeling harder than I want them to, but then understanding that because I was still pushing hard, I was still gonna get what I needed out of them, even though they were harder than I wanted to. And like with the vlog, all I gotta do is just keep doing what I'm doing, keep trying to try better, keep putting my best effort into trying to be as educational and entertaining as I can, and eventually it's not gonna totally suck. So guys, if you're watching here, thank you so much for sticking around. Appreciate the hell out of you through this, you know, trying to figure out how to talk to a camera face that I'm still somehow in 2 years later, but you know what? Just gotta keep going and we'll figure this shit out. So thank you, have a good night, see ya tomorrow, maybe. Probably 2 days because tomorrow's a rest day, so I'm not gonna film tomorrow. Yeah, okay, bye.